Hello guys, and welcome to another video in the series of Linux tutorials. In this video we are going to look at the standard input output redirection. So let's begin. Now before working with the redirection, first we must understand what we are trying to achieve. Okay, so in that context, first of all we have the streams, right? Now what are streams? Streams are basically the flow of data or information from one location to another. For example, our keyboard sends the data to the motherboard. Similarly, our command sends its output to the terminal. Okay, so this is also a stream, basically flow of data or information from one location to another, right? Now there are three types of stream. First of all is the STDIN, okay, which is the standard input stream. Okay, then we have STD out, that is the output stream, and third is the STDERR, okay, which is the standard error stream. Now the question arises, who uses these streams? Okay, so the simple answer is the processes. Okay, any process can use these streams to take input from other location and to send the output, standard output, or the error to the another location. Now what is process? Process is any program that is in running state. For example, let's say I am opening my terminal. Okay, so terminal is a program. When I am opening it, it is becoming a process because it is in the running state. Okay, now let's say that it want to take the input from the keyboard. Okay, it want to take the input from the keyboard. Okay, so it will use the STDIN stream. Okay, now there are other processes also. Let's say our shell is also a process. My current default is generally the bash shell. So if it wants to take the input, then it will take the input from the terminal, okay, using the STDIN stream. Okay, similarly, remember that each command in Linux is also a program, and as soon as I am running that command, then it is becoming a process even for short amount of time. Okay, so let's say I am writing here nano and any file name, let's say abc.txt. okay, when I am giving the command to the shell, then nano is also becoming a process. Okay, so nano, for taking the input, it is using the terminal, and let's say the nano text editor giving us some output, then it will use the stdout stream to send the output to the terminal. Okay, similarly, let's say that nano process gets some error. Okay, so it will give the error to the terminal using the STDERR stream. Okay, so basically each process or any process who needs standard input, then it could use the STDIN stream. Okay, for sending the output it could use STDOUT stream, and for error purposes it can send using the STDERR stream. One thing to note here is that this is actually a very deep process. For example, here I am writing directly that keyboard terminal is taking input from the keyboard, but it is not entirely true. For example, keyboard will first send the signals or the data to the motherboard, okay, which will send the information to the kernel. Okay, then X server. Okay, so basically I am trying to say that here we have a number of other processes also going on. Okay, for simplicity I am directly writing here keyboard terminal is taking input from the keyboard using the STDIN stream. Now there is one more concept that is known as the FD. Okay, or we can say it file descriptor. Okay, so what is a file descriptor? Now file descriptor is just a number, or we can say unique number, that is given to each file that is opened by the system. Okay, now remember that everything in the Linux is a file. These streams are also treated as a file. If you want to view it, then this will be located inside dev, and inside inside there it will be STDIN. Similarly, this will be there, and this will be STDOUT. Okay, similarly this also. Okay, STDERR. Okay, similarly our keyboard is also treated as a file. So if you want to view it, this is actually /dev/input. So devices is also treated as the files. Now the file descriptor for STDIN is 0, and the file descriptor for STDOUT is 1, and the STDERR is 2. Okay, so what is file descriptor? It is just a unique number or the numbers given by the operating system for all the files that are open. Now let's say that our process is shell process, okay, and it want to use the input stream. Okay, so it will use the 0. Okay, why? Because 0 is representing the stdin stream. Okay, this is actually happening in the operating system. Okay, but the entire process is actually very complicated. I'm just trying to give you a brief overview or the abstraction view. Okay, so if the shell is want to use the standard input stream, then it will use the 0 file descriptor. Okay, and let's say that nano is want to give the output to the terminal, then it will use the 1 file descriptor. Similarly, if it want to give the error stream, then it will use the file descriptor as 2. Okay, now let's say that you want to view everything that I taught you so far. For that, you can open the terminal, and let's say our one of the process that must be running right now is our actual bash process. Okay, now if you want to know your default shell, then you can write here $shell, which is /bash. Okay, now I will write ps-ae, and then I will grab bash. Okay, now most of the concept I had not discussed it so far, but don't worry about that. In the upcoming video I will cover those. Okay, so if I see here, you will see the process ID for the bash is 1949. Okay, if you see here, then I can write ls-l. Okay, and I'll go to the proc is basically a directory that contains every processes. Okay, one such process will be now 1949. Okay, and inside it we have the file descriptor folder, which contains file descriptor for the defined process. Okay, now if I press enter, you will see that here it is written 0 1 2. Okay, so 0 for, as I told you, for standard input, 1 for standard output, and 2 for standard error streams. Okay, now it is saying it is linked to the /dev pts0 /dev pts0 /dev pts0. Now what are these? If I press here tty, so basically this is my pseudo terminal ID, we can say. Okay, if you don't know about it, let's say I'm again opening another terminal here. Let me zoom it a little. Okay, and right now if I do here, then you will see this is giving me as pts1. Okay, so as I increase the number of terminals, this 0 1 2 gets increased. Okay, so this is basically, we can say, pseudo terminal ID, which is currently my 0. Okay, so whenever the bash process, okay, the bash process, this process 1949 want to take input, then it is taking from this pseudo terminal. Okay, again if the bash process want to send the output, it will send to this location. Okay, basically in the current terminal. Okay, for the error stream also it will use this. Okay, now let me give you another example. Let's say I am writing here nano, any file name, and I am running this in the background. Okay, again don't worry about this, I will explain processes and how we can run commands in the background in the later videos, but currently let's only stick to our topic. Okay, so now if you see, a process is running in the background and the process ID is 10420. Okay, now again if I run the same command with the process number 10420. Okay, so if you see, for the input it is using the current terminal. Okay, similarly for standard output it is using the current terminal, and for standard error stream it is using the current terminal. Okay, so this is how you can view it. So now let's see what is the purpose of standard input output redirection. Okay, so by default, as I was saying, the nano command is taking the input from the terminal, but let's say I don't want that the nano command or any other process take input from the terminal. I want to change it, I want to change the default nature. Okay, for that I will use this symbol. Okay, basically less than symbol. The input that was previously taken from the terminal, now it will be taken from the other location, which we will define. Okay, similarly our nano process was sending the output to the terminal. Okay, but let's say I don't want it to send the output to the terminal. Instead of this, I want to send it to some other location, so I will be using this greater than symbol. Okay, so this will override the default behavior. Okay, now again for the error, if you want to override, then you will use the greater than symbol. Okay, but here is a one problem. You see, this and this have the same symbol. Okay, so by default what happens, before this we also write the file descriptor. Okay, by default it is for 1. Okay, so by default it is treated for the standard output, not for the standard error. Okay, if you want to override for the standard error, then you have to specify here 2. Okay, so 2 greater than means for the overwriting for the standard error, and 1 or the normal greater than will be for the standard output. Okay, you don't have to write any file descriptor here. because we have entirely different symbol for it, okay, for standard input. Now another thing, that it's not that you can only override this standard out or standard stream, you can also override some other files, okay, because these are also the files, so you can also override the default nature, okay. For example, let's say the process is using the 255 file descriptor, okay, we don't know what it is. If you want to override, then you can write 255 greater than, and here you have to specify something else. For example, you can specify here file name, okay, or you can specify here, let's say /dev/null, so the output will go to this location. I'll explain it with the example soon, okay. So it's not like that you can only override these streams, or I can say these files or these file descriptors, okay. You can override any file descriptors and their default natures, but most of the time we only care about these three streams, okay. Other than these, there is also a redirection operator, that is the pipe operator, okay, or we can simply call it pipe, right? So what is pipe? Pipe is basically saying that I want to send the output of the one command, let's say this is command 1, to act as an input of another command. So if here it is cmd2, so the output of this will act as an input for this command, okay. So now let's have example for standard input output redirections. So currently I'm inside my home directory, inside documents and inside new, okay, which has various files, okay. Now by default, if you are seeing, when I am writing the ls command, it is giving me output to the terminal, as I explained before, okay. Now let's say that I don't want to show its output to the terminal, instead I want it to send it to some file, okay. So I can write here greater than, or I should specify here 1, we can specify it, or by default it is 1, okay. So let me first remove it, and then I can send the output. Let's say the name of the file is mi, okay. So if you open the mi, then you will see the output has been sent to the mi file, okay. Let me give you another example. Let's say I'm performing the cat operation over a file, okay. So cat fi is giving me the output as asdad, okay. Now I can do cat fi, and then let's just say it should go to the file, okay. So now if I do the cat okay, the output has been sent to the file, okay. That's a lot of okay. So let's say that if I again run it ls, and then I go to the okay, then you will see the output has been overwritten, okay. So previously the content which was there, it is getting overwritten. Now if you don't want to overwrite it, then you can specify here double greater than, okay. So it means that it will not going to overwrite the content. Let me just change the file name to the qw, right? So if I write here cat qw, then you will see the output has been sent to this file. And if I again run it, let's say this time pwd, and I'm using the double greater than, and I'm writing the file, then if I again open it, then you will see the output is getting appended instead of overwriting here, okay. So we can specify here double greater than if you want to append the output, okay. Now let's say let me clear it first. I'm writing here anything. Now this is an error. Now when I'm using this, our bash command does not recognize this command, okay. So in this case, our bash process is giving the error, okay. So bash process is giving me the error. It is sending the output related to the error to the terminal, okay. In this time it was our bash process, okay. For example, if I show you here, then the error is now sent by the bash process, okay, using the stderr stream, right? Now let's say I don't want bash to send the output to the terminal, I want to send it to some file. So I can write here greater than, and then let's say the file name is to be qw, okay. But now if you will notice that the error is still showing to the terminal. Why? Because by default it is working for the standard output, not for the standard error, and this is actually the error. So for the error, I have to specify here file descriptor as 2. Now you will see this has been not shown up, and if I write here cat qw, then you will see inside the file qw, we have the content as bash, as this was error, okay, command not found. But by default it is overwriting this file, okay. Now if you don't want to overwrite it, then you can again specify here double greater than, okay. Now if I press enter, and now if I do the qw, then you will see the file content, new file content has been appended instead of overwritten, Okay, so remember that by default the stream here is 1, but you can, for error you have to specify here 2. Okay, now another thing that you can write multiple streams simultaneously also. For example, let me give you an example. Let's say I'm writing here find, then from the terminal I want to find the file, let's say ASD. Okay, now you will see this is actually the error. Okay, this is actually the error, this is actually the error. Or let me just clear it. Let me first create a file. So I can write here sudo touch, and let's say file name to be, let's say file. Okay, so I can write here wiki password name, and let me again find the file name to be file. Okay, now you will see some of the files are getting found and some are giving error. Okay, so for closing any running process you can press Ctrl C. Okay, but by default for the standard output and for the standard error, it is showing in the terminal. Okay, now for only the changing the standard output stream, let me write here one also. I can specify here file name, let's say it is ASD. Okay, but you will see it is not going me this content. Okay, standard output is sending to this file, but the errors are still showing to the terminal, basically still telling me that the errors are still being sent to the terminal. Okay, so what I can do, I can write here 1 greater than or 2 greater than, and then I can specify the file name here, let's say dfg. Okay, now it will not give me any output to the terminal. Okay, so whenever there might be any error, it has been sent to the dfg, and if there will not be any error, then it is sent to the file asd. Okay, so if I press here cat asd, then you will see these are the files that has been found. Okay, and if I write here dfg, then you will see it is only showing me the errors that has been found by the find command. Okay, and has been redirected to the dsg file name. Okay, so let me clear it. Another thing is that if you want to send both output stream and the error stream to a particular file, then you can specify here and then greater than. Okay, so it will work for both. Basically writing for 1 greater and 2 greater, you can write here and greater than. Okay, so it will send the error streams also and standard output stream also to a given location. Okay, so let me give the file name as vbn. Now you will see the output is getting sent, the output for standard error and standard output. Okay, now if I write here cat vbn, then you will see permission denied, these error are also showing up, and if I scroll it to the top, then you will see the files which has been found is also showing in the same file. Okay, so let's clear it. Now so far I am only telling about here writing the file names. Okay, but you can also specify some other location. For example, if we want to discard something, then I can write here /dev/null, basically discarding anything. Now the purpose for this could be, let's say if I'm finding the real output, then I can send it to the found. Okay, found, and let's say if I'm getting the error, then I don't want to this output to be sent to anywhere, so I will be sending it to the null /dev/null. Now if I press enter, now you will see our file found will only have those contents which are standard output. Okay, so if I write here cat found, then you will see it does not contain any errors. Okay, because the error has been sent to the /dev/null. Basically this is used for discarding something. So it's not like that we can only redirect the output to the files, we can also redirect it to any other location. Okay, so this is about the redirecting the standard output and standard error streams. Okay, also remember that the role of our shell is to execute some other commands, okay, or to execute some other programs, right? Basically each command is actually a program, right? So the role of the bash shell or any other shell is to execute some other programs. Okay, this is why we use the shell, right? Now next we have a standard input redirection that uses the less than symbol. Okay, let's say for that, let's say currently I have one file, and if you see the output of this is the output. Okay, these are the contents, right? So basically my file is acting as a argument for the cat command. Okay, but let's say instead of this I can write here cat, then I will use standard input, then I can write here my file. Okay, if I press enter, even though the output is same, but right now it is taking the input from other location. Okay, basically from the my file, right? But here the my file was acting as an argument, but here it is acting as the another location from where it is taking the input. Okay, right now it may not be look very helpful for you, but as we go on further in this tutorial, then you will understand the importance of this input redirection also. Okay, also note that there is one more concept of here document. Okay, so this is actually the here document, right? But I will explain you here document in some other videos, because this will require an entire video for the explanation. Okay, finally we have the pipe character that is widely used. Okay, so pipe character means that the output of one command will act as an input for the another command. Now let me give you an example here. Let's say the content of the my file is this, and I want to grab something from here. Okay, so let's say I want to grab here this. It will print the those line that has the this file defined here. For example, first I was writing here cat my file. Okay, so this was the output here. Now this entire output is acting as an input for this grab command. Okay, so if I'm writing here cat my file, then I'm sending the grab command. I also explained the grab command and this particular logic in the previous video, so you can check that out also. And let's say I'm writing here how. Okay, so grab basically read the contents line by line, and it will search for the strings defined here. Okay, so right now I am defining here how. First of all, output is coming for the cat command, which will be this content. Okay, then it is going to be used by the grab command. So first in this line it is going to check whether how is present or not, then it will check for this line, check for this line, and check for this line. Okay, here it will be matched. So as soon as I will press enter, it is showing me that line. Okay, similarly let's say ls/etc. so by default if you see here, and let me just also give here -f. Okay, so this is the file output for ls-F command. Okay, now let's say that I want to find whether the group exists inside it or not. So I can write here then grab, and I'll write here group. Okay, then you will see there are two things that have the group inside of it. Okay, similar to that we can also use it with some other commands. Let's say let me write the /etc also, and I also want to sort the output, so I can write here simply sort. Okay, so it will give me the output with the sorting. Okay, so A words are coming first, then C, then D, G, L, P, like that. Okay, then also I can use it with the unique. So if you see here I have a file with the name fg, and if you see the content, then you will see these are the content, and this line is being repeated. Okay, so let's say I want to print the repeated line, those lines which are getting repeated, then I can write here cat fg and then unique and then -d. Okay, so you will see this line is getting repeated. Okay, so don't worry about this unique and sort command. I will explain these sort and unique command in the next video in detail. Okay, but remember that multiple pipe characters can also be used simultaneously. For example, there is cat fg, then you first want to find the unique. Okay, or first want to sort it, then want to find the unique, like that. Okay, and then let's say you want to grab something, then you can write the grab. Okay, so multiple pipe characters can also used. Okay, we can also use the redirection along with, let's say, greater than or two greater than for the standard error. Okay, so these standard input output redirection can be used together and any number of times. Okay, now one last thing that I want to tell you, that all the standard input redirection that we studied so far is for the bash shell. Okay, so it may possible that if you are using any other shell like TCSH shell or C shell, then a little bit change in the way of using the standard redirection will change. Okay, so keep this point in mind. And since bash is most widely used, so I had told you about using the bash shell. Okay, so that's all for today guys. I hope you like the video. If you have any doubt, please comment it down. Thanks for watching, and I have to see you in the next video.